Hi, welcome back to Moose and Chemistry. This is Property of Elements, the Alkali family introduction. So what is the alkali family? The alkali family, also known as group 1 elements, are located to the very far left of the periodic table. There are 6 alkali metals at present count. They are lithium Li, sodium Na, potassium K, rubidium Rb, cesium Cs, and francium Fr. So another cool thing about alkali families elements, they are highly reactive to water. As a matter of fact, if they come in contact with water, they readily explode. Very violent. They all have one electron in their valence shell. That's a really important thing. Let's take the most potential violent confrontation between, say, an alkali family element and an halogen. Well, let's take francium. All right, remember that in francium, there's only about 2 grams of francium at any time on the plant because they're highly reactive to water, right? So when francium would combine, say, with fluorine, which is the most electronegative element on the periodic table, that means the ability to attract electrons, you're going to get a very interesting combination. All right, in this case, they're not going to share electrons. That's a covalent bond. These are ionic bonds, right? So francium is going to give up its one and only valence electron in its outer shell to francium, and it's going to create an ionic bond. Now, people sometimes try to write it like this. And let me show you something. This is completely wrong. They try to do a Lewis structure showing this, but what this implies is that they're sharing electrons. There's no sharing here. Francium is giving up that electron to fluorine, so that's completely wrong. So how would you write it correctly? Well, let me show you. You would write it like this. You would say francium, Fr, positive 1 making it the cation. You would take a bracket here, you would put fluorine in the bracket, and most people like to put the dots in there, showing the octet that it now has. But now fluorine is no longer neutral, it is now an anion because it has one more electron than proton. And francium is a cation because it has one more proton than it does electron. And this would be the correct way to actually illustrate an ionic bond between a metal and a non-metal. Okay, so let's move on. They also, like I said, they create incredibly strong ionic bonds with halogens. And the halogens are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, acetine, and tennessine. Okay? They're all also very soft. Alkali elements are extremely soft. For example, sodium and potassium, you could take a butter knife basically and just cut them in half. And they leave a shiny surface as you cut them, but they quickly oxidize in the air because the air contains water vapor and they're already starting to react. And they really need to be removed from the air as fast as possible. So how do we keep alkali metals if there's so much water on the earth around? We can store them in mineral oil, which they're non-reactive to. And also, it's also important to remember that alkali metals have very low melting points, but they also conduct heat and electricity. Well, if you like this video, give us a like and consider subscribing so we can grow this channel. You guys be snarly, and we'll see you back here at Moose and Chemistry.